Hi and welcome to Introduction to Android 5 Programming. I'm Norman McIntyre. I'll be your instructor. In this course, you're going to learn how to quickly and easily write applications for Android mobile devices. So it could be Android mobile phone or Android mobile tablet. We're even starting to see Android on watches and other devices as well. Here, you'll learn how to do that using Android 5, which is the latest version of Android. You'll sometimes hear it referred to as Lollipop, which was really the code name for the project, but the official version, version 5 of Android. We're going to use the latest development tools, and there are actually two choices of development tools. There's Android Studio, which currently is in a beta release, but we're going to use it. We'll show you what it does. And you can also use the Android version of Eclipse. And perhaps you've used Eclipse in other projects. It's a very popular development tool, and there's actually a version that's been modified and enhanced for Android. We'll also learn very clearly how to use the Android Studio or Eclipse based on your choice. You'll learn how to debug Android 5 applications on the Android simulator. Now the simulator is nice because it says you don't have to have an actual Android device. Rather, you can run the code on the simulator. You can learn how to display what are called views, how to use widgets, how to use single and multiple activities. Notice some of these words like widgets and activities. It might not be clear what they mean right now, but as you take this course, you'll learn what they mean, and more importantly, you'll learn how to write code that uses views, or uses widgets, or uses activities. In addition, you'll learn the foundation skills to develop and support Android applications. So maybe you want to support an existing Android app, or maybe you want to develop one from the beginning using Android 5. The follow-on training to this particular course is Advanced Android 5. So think of this one as you can start learning the foundation skills, and once you've mastered this course, there's also an Advanced Android 5 programming course. Now, our course objectives, there's a lot to learn in this course. So as a result of taking it, one of the things you can do will be able to use Android Studio or Eclipse to write and debug these Android 5 applications. You'll also learn how to use what's called Android XML layout. And this is using XML, the extensible markup language. You use this to lay out your user interface. And you'll see how Android takes advantage of that. You'll also learn to write Android 5 apps that use widgets. And you say, well, wow, what's a widget? One example is something called a text view that allows you to display text on the screen, or a button that allows you to touch a button and receive information in your program saying, hey, the user touched this button. You'll also gain an understanding of how to use the Android Java class library. Now, since you're already a Java programmer, to take this course, you'll already know Java, and you'll see that Android Java has a class library that's very close to the standard Java class library. You'll learn how to create a single activity app, and single activity apps are ones that just have a single view on the screen, and a lot of apps can be written with only a single activity. It could be on the phone, it could be on a tablet device. You'll also, though, learn how to create multiple activities. And so when you create multiple activities, you need to know how to pass data to and from these activities. And of course, we're going to learn how to do that. You'll also learn how to use these Android 5 widgets, such as the text views and the buttons. And you'll run all the applications that you write on the Android phone and tablet simulator. In other words, you'll learn how to create a simulator that can either be an Android phone or an Android tablet. Now, the prerequisites, I'm assuming you already know Java. So the idea is you would take the introduction to Java 7 and learn about object-oriented programming, and also take advanced Java programming. And of course, GoGo offers those training courses, and you could take them from us, or you could have the equivalent experience, but it is required that you know Java before you take this course. So what topics are we going to cover? Quite a lot. So we'll begin with an introduction to Android 5, giving you the big picture of what is Android 5. We'll then look at the Eclipse ADT. The Eclipse ADT stands for Android Development Tool. So we'll see how you can use Eclipse for Android development. We'll also learn about the Android Studio. Although it's in beta release, you'll see how the Android Studio provides an alternative way of developing Android applications. We're going to learn how to use something called the Android SDK Manager. SDK stands for Software Developer Kit. And so this Android SDK Manager allows you to keep your software up to date. We'll also learn how to use the Android Virtual Device Manager. The Virtual Device Manager allows you to create these virtual devices which allow you to simulate either a phone or a tablet device. We'll learn how to write a Hello World app using Eclipse, and we'll do the same thing, write a Hello World app using Android Studio. So that way you can see both development tools and choose the one that you like the best. We'll learn how to create what is called an activity, and inside the activity, we're going to learn how to access what is called a view. We're also going to write applications that take advantage of Android widgets. Now, what are some of the widgets? Well, one example is the text view. Allows us to display text, and we're going to use that first by writing Java code. So just by writing Java code, we'll see how to create and put information into the text view. But we'll also see how to do the same demo, the same way of coding, but this time use XML for layout. So think of a theme that we're going to have as we go through this course is learn how to do it in Java and also learn how to do it using XML layout. We'll look at how to use a button. The button widget, we'll first use it with Java and then we'll use it with XML. So notice the pattern here. We learned the text view both with Java and XML, then we learned the button with Java and XML. We'll then learn how to do keyboard input, and we'll do keyboard input with something called the edit text. We'll also learn how to use a list activity. A list activity allows you to list items, and as you can imagine, many times you want to have a list of items in your application. We'll learn how to do that using Java. We'll also learn how to do that using XML. So we have both Java and XML versions of the list activity. We'll learn how to use intents. And wow, you're saying, what is an intent? An intent, we're going to find out, is simply a message. It's a way you can send a message out to the system, say, I have an intent to do something, and the system will respond to that intent. We're going to see how you create activities from scratch. In other words, when you want to create a brand new activity, how will you go about doing that? So what system requirements are required for taking this course? Well, from a hardware perspective, you can use a PC, you can use a Mac, or you can use a Linux computer with a minimum of 2 gig of RAM. So the hardware, again, if you're a PC user, a Mac user, or a Linux user, all of those will work fine. From a software perspective, you'll need to install the Android Studio, or you can use Eclipse with the Android development tools, and I'll actually show you how to do that as we go through this course. You'll also need to have Java 6 installed on your machine, but I'm assuming you're a Java software developer and you already have Java installed on your system. Now the curriculum path for this, you would begin by taking programming for non-programmers, and then you would take the Java programming courses. That would lead you into this Android 5 programming, and then after this course, there'll be an advanced Android programming. Notice you can also take the fundamentals of operating systems, give you a strong understanding of operating systems and how the operating system works with these languages. Now the materials to download, there's a student guide, there's also an exercise guide, and there's a lab setup guide. So download those items and we'll refer to them as we go throughout this course. Okay, let's get started.